Man, oh man, do you remember the religious fervor when Magic revealed its first gods in 2013? Well, listen, me neither. Alright, listen buddies, I'm an old man. My feet hurt, my back hurts, my rectus abdominis hurts, but that's neither here nor there. The point is, we popped open boxes in hopes of cracking some Theros gods back in the day. That was back in 2013, dude. Many of you were just bad ideas at that point. So man, I pulled an Erebos God of the Dead. I was pretty happy about that pack. I remember as I sat in my car I was contemplating going home, but I stopped to open a pack prior to my inevitable and dreaded return to the bliss of my erstwhile family. It was a nice moment. I was transported back to that time in my imagination when Commander Masters reprinted a bunch of these old gods, and it made me want to revisit them and see how they've held up through the various incarnations. Are they still good in Commander? I mean, Commander was just starting to be a thing back in 2013, and the Gods of Theros have a bit of a nostalgic chokehold on me. I have 3 Commander decks with Gods at the helm. I'll go into those later, but let's talk about gods. Let's talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, dude. But first, you gotta subscribe, brother. I do lots of videos, and that's the fun part. You know, getting that notification saying, oh, there's a new Nikki G video, it's gonna be filled with nonsense. If you wanna support the channel directly, feel free to be cool like our old friend Ben Thick and my dude Tyler. Buy me a coffee at the link in the description, brother. So let's see how the original 5 gods have held up since 2013. That was a long time ago, dude. We'll take a look at their signature items. We're gonna crap on them a little bit, you know? Then we're gonna take a look at later incarnations from Theros Beyond Death and beyond. Some of you may not have seen these or considered them for a few years, so this should be a fun little ride down memory lane. Alright, first up, my favorite skinny legend. We got Erebos God of the Dead. 3 and a black for a legendary enchantment creature god. It's a 5/7 with indestructible, dude. As long as your devotion to black is less than 5, Erebos isn't a creature. Your opponents can't gain life. 1 and a black, pay 2 life, draw a card. Drawing cards is great, dude. This is very black indeed. This is bonkers for 4 mana, especially in a mono black deck. The static ability shuts off life gain decks, but more importantly, shuts off the little incidental life gain that is baked into a lot of cards that are doing other things. Listen man, I love this guy's style, and his signature item is the Whip of Erebos. 2 black for a legendary enchantment artifact. Creatures you control have lifelink. 2 black and tap, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste, exile it at the beginning of the next end step. If we leave the battlefield, you gotta exile it, dude. Activate only as a sorcery. Both of these cards are about $10 currently. The Whip is a rare repeatable reanimation effect and is pretty fairly costed, I think. But don't worry, dude, Erebos came back in Theros Beyond Death. Now he's bleak-hearted, dude. He got divorced and now he's sad. 3 and a black for a legendary enchantment creature god. It's a 5/6 with indestructible. As long as your devotion to black is less than 5, Erebos is not a creature. Whenever another creature you control dies, you may pay 2 life. If you do, draw a card. That's his little black tears coming down, dude. 1 in the black, sacrifice another creature. Target creature gets -2/-1 until end of turn. This guy's about 59 cents. Doesn't seem to have the same utility. It's a sacrifice outlet, a very good one in the right circumstances, but kind of middling compared to the sacrifice outlets that don't have an activation cost. This card draw is pretty good. I don't know, I give it a B-. Then you've got Heliod, God of the Sun. 3 and a white for a legendary enchantment creature god, dude. It's indestructible. As long as your devotion to white is less than 5, Heliod isn't a creature. Other creatures you control have vigilance. 2 and a white create a 2/1 white cleric enchantment creature token. By today's standards, this guy's pretty tame. Given vigilance isn't that great, and paying 4 to make a token is also pretty underwhelming in today's crowded field. Now this guy's carrying around a dang spear, dude. Everybody's least favorite weapon in the Dark Souls universe, but listen, it's objectively more deadly than a dang whip. 1 and a white for a legendary enchantment artifact. Creatures you control get +1/+1. 1 white and tap, destroy target creature that dealt damage to you this turn. This poor thing is 89 cents, very niche card. Now Heliod got a tremendous glow up in Theros Beyond Death, and now he's Sun Crown, dude. 2 and a white for a legendary enchantment creature god. It's a 5/5 with indestructible. As long as your devotion to white is less than 5, this guy isn't a creature, so don't worry about that. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature or enchantment you control. 1 and a white, another target creature gains lifelink until end of turn. So listen man, this combos with Walking Ballista. There you go, $20 card instantly. It's also pretty good in a life gain and or counters deck. This also pushed the mana value down to 3, dude. Pretty aggressive. The recent reprint on this knocked the price down to about $8 or so if you're looking for one. Well then the Phyrexians came along and they completed this guy to make a monstrosity. The Radiant Dawn is 2 white for a legendary enchantment creature god. When it enters the battlefield, return target enchantment card that isn't a god from your graveyard to your hand. Has 3 and a blue Phyrexian. Transform this guy, activate only as a sorcery. So listen, man, he transforms into the Warped Eclipse, so this guy is just a big old Phyrexian god. You may cast spells as though they had flash. Spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each card that your opponents have drawn this turn. So you can pay 8 mana or 7 mana and 2 life to get the backside, which doesn't have indestructible and is sure to eat removal, I guess, I don't know. But if you can make it stick, you have a decent commander reminiscent of Wrath Capuchin with an Azorius Wheel flavor. Not my jam. Alright, man, then we got Purphoros, God of the Forge, 3 and a red for a legendary enchantment creature god. It's a 6/5 with indestructible. As long as your devotion to red is less than 5, this guy is not a creature. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, Purphoros deals 2 damage to each opponent. 2 and a red, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. This guy looks like the dang Liver King out there, dude, looking a little juicy, you know what I'm saying? This guy says, oh, listen, I just eat copper and brass and stuff like that, dude, I don't know. There's tons of goblins that make more goblins and start quartering life totals out there. You put out some of these goblins, dude, you're hitting everybody for 8 damage. This is also bonkers in like a Jund Aristocrat deck where you're looping creatures in and out. That's where I'm sticking one I just bought for $7, my Zero the Golden Sting deck. And this guy's got a signature item, the Hammer of Purphoros, 1 red for a legendary enchantment artifact. Creatures you control have haste. 2 and a red and tap, sacrifice a land. Create a 3/3 colorless golem enchantment artifact creature token. It has all 3 types, brother. It's an artifact version of Fervor, which is still played in a bunch of decks, dude. I like Fervor effects. I like this card, especially in an artifact theme. Increases your artifact count, gives everything haste. That last ability is a little less than useful, though. Purphoros returns in Theros Beyond Death as Purphoros the Blonde Bombshell, dude. 4 and a red for a legendary enchantment creature. It's a god, 7/6. Indestructible. As long as your devotion to red is less than 5, this guy is not a creature. Other creatures you control have haste. That's pretty awesome right there, dude. I like that. 2 and a red, you may put a red creature card or an artifact creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. So yeah, man, this is Sneak Attack Purphoros, right? Sometimes people ask me, I'm going to cast Purphoros. They say, is it the Sneak Attack Purphoros? And I say, no, it's the good one, dude. But this guy's pretty decent. But it's a mana-intensive card compared to Sneak Attack. It also has a massive beater, dude. So I don't know, it's kind of a meh card for 5 mana. It's pretty cheap if you want one. Alright, let's move on to Thassa, God of the Sea. She's a dang fish stick, dude. 2 and a blue for a legendary enchantment creature god. It's a 5/5 with indestructible. As long as your devotion to blue is less than 5, blah, 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 blah. At the beginning of your upkeep, scry 1. Has 1 and a blue, target creature you control can't be blocked this turn. 3 mana. I mean, this is a beautiful card, dude. Look at that art. This card has a ton of utility in the right decks. It's $10 for the cheapest version. Kind of needs a reprint to knock it down a little. Oh, and look at this little signature weapon she's got going on, dude. It's a Bident of Thassa, and it's not a Trident. Don't even try to put this in the Trident class, brother. It's 2 blue for a legendary enchantment artifact. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card if you want to. 1 and a blue, and tap creatures your opponents control attack this turn if able. I love this card. I love everything about it. The last ability is 1 me gains, dude, though that was probably a long time ago, admittedly. The Coastal Piracy effect is also really neat in blue, where you have all these little flyers banging in for damage. Alright, man, then you got the old Deep Dwelling, 3 and a blue for a legendary enchantment creature god with indestructible. As long as your devotion to blue is less than 5, you know the rest of that sentence. At the beginning of your end step, exile up to 1 other target creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under your control. Nice little blink there, dude. 3 and a blue, tap another target creature. It's a 6/5. This is another banger card that slaps, dude. I love this card. This sticks around, it blinks your stuff like crazy, can tap down a nuisance creature, does a lot for 4 mana. And last but certainly not least, we have the Green Fox, Nylea, God of the Hunt. 3 and a green for a legendary enchantment creature god. It's a 6/6 with indestructible. As long as your devotion to green is less than 5, this is not a creature. Other creatures you control have trample, brother. 3 and a green, target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Listen, man, this gives all your creatures trample, can utilize infinite mana or massive mana to turn every mana dork or whatever you got on the field into a knockout blow. Fantastic card that's about $5. Alright, listen, man, she's got the bow, right? You're going to go into the Undead Burg, you're going to shoot the dragon in the tail from under the bridge. That's Dark Souls, brother. 1 green for a legendary enchantment artifact. Attacking creatures you control have Death Touch. 1 and a green and tap, and you can choose one. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Bow and Nylea deals 2 damage to target creature with flying, or you gain 3 life. Or put up to 4 target cards from your graveyard on the bottom of your library in any order. Kind of a weird one. Kind of a worded card that can do a bunch of things. Giving attacking creatures Death Touch can really muck up combat for your opponents. This is about $3 right now and shines in very certain decks. And guess what, dude? She comes back in Theros Beyond Death and she's shooting a bow again. Nylea Keen-Eyed, 3 and a green for a legendary enchantment creature god. It's a 5/6. Indestructible. As long as your devotion to green is less than 5, I don't even care what you think, dude. It's not a creature. Creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. 2 and a green, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, put it in your hand. Otherwise, you may put it into your graveyard. This thing's about $3 right now for the cheapest version. This is pretty good in those creature-based decks that you want to build in green, and maybe Gruul too. I like this card, just not that much. Yeah, so listen man, those are the big 5. I kind of ran out of time here, but I'm going to be back with part 2 in the coming days, brother. I want to do another video on all the rest of these gods. These videos are meant to be a little palate cleanser to take the bad taste out of your mouth from the recent sets. It's fun to revisit the olden days, and some of these are real bangers, brother. This is Nicky G from Better Commander, signing off.